आज की तारीख है 13 अगस्त 2022 और हम आए हैं अल्मेडा कैलिफोर्निया में। और यहाँ हम इसलिए आए हैं क्योंकि यहाँ पे इनका एक वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 का एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर पार्क है जिसको उन्होंने म्यूज़ियम में कन्वर्ट किया हुआ है। आज हम वो देखेंगे। और ये है वो USS Hornet, ये एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर है। तो अभी वहाँ अंदर चलते हैं और अंदर जाके देखते कैसा है ये। और अगर आप पीछे देख सकते हो दूर, दैट इज सेंट फ्रांसिस्को डाउनटाउन। और ये बाइकर्स आए हैं काफ़ी सारे। उधर भी नहीं पार्क किया, वहाँ पार्क कर सकते थे। व्हीली व्हीली कोई नहीं कर रहा। ये वो है बेसिकली, जब एयरक्राफ्ट लैंड करते हैं ना इसके ऊपर, हेलीकॉप्टर लैंड करते हैं तो इस पे बेसिकली जाली होती है शायद। हाँ मैं भी भूल गया, मुझे नहीं पता। दादा होते दादा को पूछा जा सकता था। दादा के टाइम की शिप है। ओके, अभी हम एंटर कर रहे हैं USS Hornet। इसमें एंट्री फी है और वो एंट्री फी अंदर जाके लेंगे लोग शायद। This is a US-34D Seahorse, सिकोस्की का है ये। Pilots sit on the top, the gunners on the bottom, and this is for the combat crew. So rescue crew. ये है 14 टॉमकैट। अगर आपने टॉप गन देखी होगी तो टॉप गन में यही जहाज हो रहा था, टॉम क्रूज। It's got a swept-back wings, adjustable. Twin pilot.
Comes to go launch, it's still got its wings folded, and we'll lower lower the jet blast deflector, taxi the aircraft over the jet blast deflector and onto the catapult. And then we'll use that bar as one of the main things we use to organize how we launch the aircraft. Did you guys see the bar? Come on. This is called a holdback bar. And this is designed to hold the aircraft in place for all the thrust the aircraft can develop. And this part right here is that piece that is specifically milled to the size that it is to give the right degree of strength so it will break at the right time.
Okay.
And S-3 was designed to counter the Soviet submarine threat, particularly off the East Coast, back in the Cold War. And so this is designed to track and potentially attack Soviet submarines. And one part I need to show you, for all naval aircraft, for carrier aircraft,
Hook.
you have tail.
The arrested hook.
So this is a requirement for fixed wing aircraft on aircraft carriers, is a tail hook. And as this was an anti-submarine warfare aircraft, one of the sensors that you used to find submarines were launched out of those holes right there, which are called sonobuoys. Sonobuoys are instruments that are about this tall, this round, and they have a 1,000-foot cable in them, an underwater microphone, and a radio that the cable connects to. So it connects what they hear at set depths all the way up and radio it across back to the airplane. So the airplane can monitor about half a dozen buoys simultaneously. So they can listen for submarines. And if they hear a submarine, they can figure out what kind it is based on the sound of the screws, the propellers. And they can figure out from it what directions it's going based on the buoys in the pattern. So it's a very capable system for finding submarines. Spare barricade. Okay. And that'll make it so they'll change the settings based on the weight of the aircraft, because that changes the size of the aperture in the hydraulic system. That slows how quickly the fluid will flow through that aperture, and how much resistance you'll give the airplane
To stop.
Yes. And at the same time, so these two will change immediately. And then the person who's monitoring this board will then, as an airplane lands, will wipe that line off.
Okay.
So we only have a loft aircraft up here. And so the trick is, it's written in grease pencil.
Oh, charting.
Yeah. So this is navigation office.
Yeah.
And the way they navigated before cell phones had GPS, was a sextant and a chronometer. And you measured the height of a celestial body above the horizon. And with that height, you'd compare it to observations. You'd use observations in the nautical almanac to then figure out your position. And so, because that would tell where the star was, and you'd figure out
where
distance from that place, yes. And so those got used. And what they would use, once you figured out the calculations, you'd feed it into this analog computer back in the day. And you'd set the position based on these wheels. You'd make sure the scale of the chart and the computer were the same. And you'd make sure you're in the right hemisphere of the Earth, because depending on where you're at,